Don't you say anything.
Man, I'll tell you the story about
Burn the tape. Burn the tape.
We are live on Facebook
and Instagram.
So we will be starting, man, and Instagram and YouTube live. So we all over the place, guys. So anything you say is being recorded. Are you guys still there?
You put it out there early.
Still there?
Message on my screen. This I'm still here in the best stream. I got a message on my screen. Staying in this meeting there. You can send the best stream.
So what you trying to prove to everybody you can read now, Tom?
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm just trying to see for everybody you can read now, Tom. Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm just trying to see for.
All right, let's test. You ready to go? Can everybody say something so I'm gonna get this echo out of here?
Yes.
Test. You ready to go? Can everybody say something so I'm gonna get this echo out of here?
Test. Yes. Test.
All right, everybody got me loud and clear?
I hear you. That's
I said, you gotta have a theme song, baby.
All right, here we go, guys. We about to kick.
Got me loud and clear.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another show, Above Average Black Men. Yours truly, Chris Pender Sr.
Devin Pender here, here to inspire, uplift the community. And Nicole, thank you. I hear the.
And we have, man, we got three very special guests in here tonight, man. We got a man, Mike Berry, all the way from Texas. Live. We got James in here from Detroit, from the Motor City. And we got Mr. Franklin all the way from Malton, New Jersey. So we kind of covered the spectrum here, man. And we're in Uplands Park, man. So today's topic, what we're going to Father's Day. Why is Mother's Day more than Father's Day? So one of you guys want to kick off first? Tell a little bit about. Let's keep it to snippets. All right. Let's start with Mike since he's the farthest away. Let's go, Mike.
Appreciate that, Chris. Good evening, family. My name is Michael Berry. I'm the executive director for a group called United. Run student programs called Becoming a Man and Working a Woman. Chris. And good evening, family. My name is Michael Berry. I'm the husband to a wife, Jay Berry, and the two kids. I said that one's going on 4, my daughter's Harper. She's 4 going on 44, my son is 8 going on 38. His name is Jackson Berry. So for me, when I think about this topic, I said that one's going on 4, my daughter's celebrated. 4 going on 44, my son is 8 going on 38. I go back to like this, his name is Jackson Berry. Holiday. When I think about this Mother's Day, speaks to a lot of shopping, a lot of I go back to like showing the commercialization of these holidays. And Father's Day, at least for me, has never really the sexier holiday. It's the one of the when I think of my own father, gratitude is showing with gifts. Where would I be without? I mean, let's work about that kind of really sexier holiday. Or kind of again, not to say I would say pieces of my upbringing. Can't be without my dad. So he did a lot of this is not a lot of sexy kind of person. The later time, we work out of accountability. Visualize, I would say pieces of my. So that's why I forget. Like this is not, and as we said, we rarely get it. We get stuff like tool belts, tool kits, and that's the whole. And like happy birthday and a new tie, and we'll give a Father's Day. So, definitely have some challenges with it, but that's kind of what I see. I think it's the commercialization of the holiday in of itself is what I think we find ourselves in this situation.
All right. So again, guys, on Above Average Black Men, we're talking about why is Mother's Day more celebrated than Father's Day. That was my man, Mike Berry from Texas. All right, James, you up next, bro.
Oh, man. Greetings, family. Thanks for having me once again. It's good to be back on AABM. A2BM, excuse me. James Young, originally from Detroit, no duck. Happy to be here. I run my own practice through where I get financial advising and insurance and things like that to help people plan, protect, and save. Happy to be here, but as far as the topic, I have to follow what Mike was saying. That you know, unfortunately, it doesn't carry the system. It doesn't carry the system. We all applaud, you know, father what we do. I am a father. I'm also a pop, and I'm proud. But it doesn't carry that same sizzle as it does for mom and the, I'll say, the sort of commercialization of the holiday itself. I would love to not get tools for Father's Day, because who wants to be rewarded with more work? But you know, enjoy it as it doesn't carry that same weight. I wish I had something different to add, but I think Michael hit it on the head.
You broke up a little bit, James, so I think we missed the tail end of what you said. But
it looks like it's trying to reconnect.
yeah, we're freezing.
So real fast, I'm just gonna go with my reasons why I think that it is more celebrated. I think a lot of it stems from, you know, what they say, a lot of people with the single mothers, the rise of that. I think that helps, and also with them saying, you know, since I'm the only one, you know, I deserve Father's Day as well too, and as well as I would say advertisements. You know, for Mother's Day, I feel like they go above and beyond with the advertisements. You know, with the jewelry, flowers, candy, and you know, I feel like when it comes to Father's Day, that's when they start to. I feel like Home Depot and Lowe's, that's when they really start to come out with their advertising dollars that day. So I feel like advertisements as well too plays a hand in it.
All right, Tommy, what you got for us, man?
All right, I'm going to come from a couple angles. My name is Tommy Franklin. I'm from Philadelphia originally, but just been in Jersey for the last 30 years, and I raised 3 children. And I would say that my 3 children are all daddy children. You know, they all daddy first, daddy first, daddy first. But then there's times when they reach out to mom, it's different. You know, it just seems like a different, like the guys are saying, it's just a different sizzle to it. It's a different. They're more passionate. They reach out when they reach out to mom. They reach out different overall. And, you know, but overall they daddy. And it comes down to it. You know, they get in some trouble, something like that. Mom, help. You know, stuff like that. And you see a lot of that stuff. Also, I'm a retired postal book manager. I've worked for the post office for 30 years, and as a postal manager, we had we paid out more overtime. We had to have more employees in there because of the Christmas cards, Christmas gifts, Christmas cards. And that was Mother's Day. Mother's Day was the second, and it was Mother's Day is not going to have extra overtime. We had extra people. The mail volume was just, people were just flooding the system with Mother's Day cards, Mother's Day gifts. It was just a national, international, however you want to call it. It's just more celebrated, and for whatever reason it was. Father is not even back. We started back. People went on vacation. We didn't need anybody to work because there was no Father's Day call. There was no Father's Day. There was no Father's Day gift. There was nobody or nothing. It's like Chris said. It's just more celebrated by that much of a just from a postal view that we just saw that. Wow, you know, when we used to laugh about it. The postal managers that were married, we looking up like, well, what are we going for? We didn't have a meet. Mother's Day, you had to have meet just to make sure you had enough people to get that mail delivered to the people. It was to agree with you guys saying it's the advertising, it's the commercialization, and it's just not to be sexist or anything. I think it's the female what they depend on, what they ask for, what they want. Well, you know, I don't want to be sexist or nothing like that, but you know, what do I want for Father's Day? I don't want nothing.
Well, I would be the radical.
How about leave me alone?
I would be the radical. I would be the radical in the room. See, I disagree. I don't think it's because it's more advertised. I think because it is more advertised, but you live in a house, dude. We there. It don't take a commercial to say that Mike is doing what he's supposed to do. It don't take a commercial to say that you, Tommy, that we're doing. We should not. Wives don't need a commercial. They see it. There's a lot of women out there who complain about men, and that's my whole point of the show. That all you hear is about what we don't do. You know, we don't do this, we don't do that. You know, Mike's taking his son, you know, to somewhere right now while he's on this call. You know, Tommy, you know what you do for your kids and your grandkids. James, we all had this conversation before. So I don't think it's about advertising. I do think it's a conscious decision. You know, I think people it's just the way it is, and people fall into the trap. Me also think it's underappreciation. You know, I think it's easier to highlight what we do wrong than to say, okay, we got some brothers do what they're supposed to do. And you know, I think the third reason I do think is purposeful. You know, I do think they do it on purpose because, like, my biggest pet peeve is, and I know I'm gonna get something for this, and I really, you know, when they say a mom should get a Father's Day card. No, she shouldn't. No, she shouldn't. You know, I get it. You a single mom, you do, but you are not a dude. Every boy is going to find some man to affirm in their father. That's a fact of life. That's not me. Statistics show it. Every girl is going to find an image of some man or the guy she wants to marry or be with. A woman can never be that. Single moms do a great job, but they don't get a Father's Day card. And you see commercials. You'll see commercials. Well, this is for all the singles. Like, no, you don't see not one commercial on Mother's Day saying this is for the dads to take care of their daughter. You don't see that. So I do think it's a conscious effort because the way they set it up, if they make us unimportant, hey, you know, and statistics show 8 out of 10 homes in some neighborhoods, the biological father is not present. Those kids are more likely to go to jail, more likely to get pregnant, more likely to use drugs, more likely to drop out of school. So statistics show the importance of men. However, the negative side of it is, you know, hey, we feed the prison system. You know, we feed a lot of negative social pathologies, and I think it's up to people, you know, starting their own, you know, to make a conscious decision. I see it right now, and my son knows sitting next to me. I got all the screwdrivers I need. I don't need him to give me a new screwdriver. If I need one, hey, on the way home, I hit Home Depot, pick out my own screwdriver, one I actually like. You know, I want the kind with the magnet that make the screw stick to it. You know, I'm going high end. You know, power tools. You know, I think, and I forget which one of you said it. The gifts are not even personal on Father's Day. You know, they're not sitting there thinking like, man, you know, Mike do a lot of stuff, man. Let me get his brother a massage and maybe, you know, I don't know, a bottle of wine or some nice cologne or something like that. You know, Mike don't want a fish tank.
Yeah, there's no sentimental value. Is that what you're...
You don't want a plate.
I second that, brother. I don't want no fish tank.
You don't want no plate. Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Can I tap in quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I tap about? I love this idea of the dispelling of rumors, and I think that's kind of where we're at, brother. I think in this idea and this kind of society where everything's instantly gratification, or even with social media driving kind of themes. There's a report out, to your point, around the presence of men in households, and most people would have this, or they would feel like they have the truth that most Black men are not in homes, or a lot of kids are growing up fatherless in the Black community. That couldn't be further from the truth. The CDC actually put out a report here recently that talked about not only the power of blended families, but that actually more often than not, there's a Black father in the home. And why is it important? Because that then, to your point, dispels the rumor that, oh, well, Black men are not in the home. That Black men and I'm offering up like, I think it's, so let me, commercialization, I think it's right on point what you're saying, Chris, which is people create their own narratives, and it's easier to like blame men, Black men specifically, or Black fathers, when things are going wrong or that whatever. And by the way, the reality is that we're all human. We're going to make mistakes, and I think it's the grace, the empathy that we should be providing for each other. Like, man, I messed up, I found up. It's one of the things that I hold dear in the program that with this Becoming a Man program, that one of our benchmarks around accountability. I'm teaching young men to reconcile with like some of their own daddy issues, but then also what kind of man and age that you have the age to show up the man that you want to become, and offering up no society, no Instagram, no TikTok, no Twitter is going to tell me the kind of man or father that I should be or need to be. You decide that, and I'm offering up, King. I think if we could get past some of these myths, I think we'd be better off because we're all their own decisions of what they think manhood or fatherhood is, based on many cases people that ain't never lived it, done it, and they shouldn't be down.
Now, I was just curious.
Believe me, I will be tapping in to get more advice.
I was just curious, you know, to the panel.
Go ahead.
Was Father's Day, was there more of a sentimental aspect when you were growing up versus today?
Well, no, for me, I didn't have the money my kids had for Father's Day. Back, hopefully this is coming through clear because I see some stuff on my screen. Can you guys hear me?
I missed Devin. What he was saying. I didn't get that.
My question was, when now anyone on the panel can answer this.
Might be Devin's mic.
I was saying anyone on the panel can answer this, but was there more of a sentimental value in Father's Day when you guys were growing up versus today?
You on mute, James.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it was a little bit more celebrated then than today. But the dynamic has changed so much. Let me not say the dynamic, the stereotype so much. The narrative has changed so much that, and like Brother Michael was saying, it couldn't be further from the truth. There are a lot of black men in the home, there are a lot of black fathers in the home. Now, whether they're biological or not may be a whole other story. Because I don't have any biological children, but I have a father. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we get a bad rep. So, but back in the day, it did seem to be a little bit better celebrated. Even though I would say one of the other things that we don't get recognized as much is because we don't want for nothing. We don't want for much. We don't make a lot of fuss. We don't put on. I don't need flowers. I don't need. Okay, nice meal. All right, cool.
I do. What you talking? No, I'm only teasing. Now you speaking for all the men. We don't need. What you French now? We.
No. I said we typically don't make a big fuss. I ain't said we don't need. I said I don't need. Right. I don't look. I'm not gonna put that on the spot and ask what's going on. But
look, man. It's like if you hit a home run, you don't want to come around the plate and nobody look at you and talk to you. You want the high five. No, I'm only teasing. No, I think, and I'm interested to know what you think about this. And because of what I do, I have a lot of females in my program, and we always go back and forth about this. And I think this is the same thing in schools now. You have so many female teachers teaching now that they put a greater emphasis on Mother's Day. They do, like we start planning for Mother's Day. They making, 3 weeks ahead of time. They coming up with projects and all kind of stuff, man. And how much I got in the budget? Like, what y'all doing for Father's Day? Oh, we ain't in school on Father's Day. But Father's Day still coming. What are you talking about? So I just, and I'm gonna say this. You also have, because you have a greater number of female teachers, the higher possibility of having some bitter teachers in that group. Who I don't need a man. I am the mother and the father. I've heard, I do fatherhood, so I heard that so many times. So what's your thoughts on that? That, do you think that can contribute to what we're talking about?
I think it can easily contribute to what you're talking about. Kids going along with, because that's their norm, unfortunately. So understanding exactly that point, yeah, they could be bitter. Or they could be in that situation where the relationship wasn't good, or there's bad feelings, there's bad blood between the mother and the father. And the one that suffers most is the child. But we teach the man to not still tell the child to honor the mother, but they need to bring that piece back to the forefront, because there are, the few mess it up for the masses. That's all I hope it is. But mm-hmm. There are a lot of folks that do what they're supposed to do, and they should be recognized and celebrated.
I agree with James and Mike and Devin, but Chris, the one thing that you said that we 100% on is that a mother should not get a Father's Day card. I mean, if you're being a mother, you're being a mother. A lot of mothers do feel like when there is no father in the home, that they're playing both roles. Well, you're still technically being a mother. The mother, if the father is, I grew up with I lost my father when he was 12. My mother had to raise, it was 8 of us. She still had to raise us as a mother. She raised us as a mother, not as a mother and a father. Our father, I mean, thank God he was there and present in our lives for that first 12 years for me, for 6 years for my baby sister. But he still was that father, and that father figure was still him. So my mother didn't deserve no Father's Day card. She just deserved maybe a bigger Mother's Day card.
Yep.
I agree with that. That's where I think we all saying the same thing is that we're being led wrong with some of the stereotypes, some of the some of the commercialization that some people are just putting out false emphasis that the man is not doing his man in the role. What gifts I got, I'm gonna say last 7 years, the best Father's Day gifts I got came from my nephews and cousins that they sent me emails or text messages and saying that thank you for being the blueprint that making me the man that I am today. They say thank you. They thank me when they didn't have fathers necessarily, like Chris said, just because there's no father in the home, somebody to say, hey, that's the way I want to go, or that's not the way I want to go. So you have that going on. So I agree with Chris on that part too. That and it might be the same thing for the mother. If the mother's not there, and I have nieces, and Chris, you know that mothers take them home from the house, and we raised them. You know, we had to raise them. So that's how that had to be as a family. And those girls, you know, they reach out to their mother on Mother's Day. No, but they reach out to their father. There's Chris right there.
Yeah.
So,
But your situation is a perfect example because Lenny also stepped up.
yes.
You know, so my point was that single moms do a great job, but single moms are not dads. And I think this is one of the things that I think is purposeful, is on purpose that they do that because you have women who fall into the mindset. And my next comment that I know I'm gonna get in trouble in because then you have a lot of guys who don't really know what a man is. Like I'll have people tell me, say, look, yo, man, I was raised by a bunch of women. I'm in a house now with a bunch of women. I ain't got a clue how to do this. Because nobody sat down with me like Mike does it now. Nobody sat down with me and walked me through the process. So now it's on the job training. I'm trying to be a husband, I'm trying to be a father, and I'm trying to learn this all at one time. And it's hard. Then you got society who's painting a whole nother picture. Chris broke right in time, his favorite thing. You got the social media, you got all this stuff painting a whole nother picture. So let me bring Chris up to speed. We got James from Detroit, we got Mike from Texas, and we got Tommy from New Jersey.
Oh yeah. You're all over the map today. I love it. I love it.
So I think so my next question would be is, how do we change the narrative? How do we, because Mike said something that was powerful when he talked about what some of the other statistics are that people are not hearing. Because to Mike's point, and then you can answer the question, I learned this in my freshman year of college. You can make anything say what you wanted to say just by polling a certain group of people.
Yeah.
So if I go into a neighborhood where 80% of the neighborhood, the biological father is not present, that's gonna be my stats. I can just do 10 houses and 8 out of 10. So I think it's important that we do look at it that way. So how do we change the narrative, man, to guys like us, who are fathers, who are doing the right thing, that we're not the minority? Anybody want to take that?
If I could say something.
Go ahead.
I know right on time we were talking about social media.
You said you would joke.
Hold up, Chris. Tommy,
I
go ahead, Chris.
was about to say the timing was a little off. But I think social media is extremely impactful in our society. I'm right on time with it. I love it because I think it has provided us with plenty of opportunities to learn and see things, and people do go in there and spend a large majority of the time there. I don't know, Devin, you can probably contribute to this or say something, but you see a lot more negativity. You always hear fathers aren't here, fathers aren't there, men aren't this, men aren't that. And you don't really have that many positive examples that you see on there a lot of times. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a matter of kind of us having conversations like this, two, like celebrating fathers that are in their child's life, or at least trying to be, step up and being in their child's life. I think it's on us to really kind of push guys like that into the forefront and make it cool again. You know, I think it's just we don't talk about it enough. We don't celebrate the people that are doing positive things. Like we quick to chastise people and talk about the negative things all the time, but we never give praise to people that are doing those things and making it where people are seeing them and where it's a part of their lives. Because I think, I don't know if you guys already touched upon this, but like a big part of kids growing up, you know, if you grow up in that environment where all you see is women, you may tend to have feminine ways or picking up on.
I wasn't gonna say that.
It is what it is. You're gonna pick up on how they handle situations where kids more sort of learn from what they see and less of what they hear, you know? So if you don't have kind of that fatherly figure in your life, you know, you're gonna be picking it up from wherever, you know. You made a point plenty of times before where if there isn't a male, then they're gonna find a male to try to mimic.
Yeah.
It's on TV,
Right,
radio.
right. So I think it's more so one, like us social media trying to take advantage of that and having a push for just kind of having positive energy out here.
Right on cue, Mike put up his backtrack with Bam and Wow. So can you hear me, Mike?
Look like it froze.
Yeah, one of us he's frozen. So can you hear me, Mike?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I want because I think this your new backdrop touch right in. So how are you helping young men? Because you mentioned it earlier. I want to go back there on become, you know, not just becoming men, but if they become a dad, how can they break the cycle? Because you mentioned that. Well, we got a connection problem. We'll get back.
I know for me, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say for me, man, it starts with my own journey. So our program, as I mentioned earlier, is called Becoming a Man and Working on Womanhood. But what it really is all about is allowing for our young people of color, for our young Black men, to say that I'm not okay. We're dealing with trauma, generational trauma. And by we, that's inclusive of myself. I sit in that space and I am doing my own men's work. I'm like, man, I went through some things and my parents did well by that. So what I'm offering up to you is that we want to be able to break the cycle and have our young men begin to like reconcile with values like integrity, accountability, respect for womanhood. What does this all mean and look like without having society tell us what that looks like? And so just offering up to you, what we're trying to really get to is using a mental health approach, and we use clinicians in this space. So we'll use like our framework is CBT, is the most popular one used, cognitive behavioral therapy. And the idea that we reframe the thinking around people testing, quote unquote, the manhood. So when a student, you know, in the hallway bumps me, it's not because this person's trying to let them know. So really could just off his balance. That don't mean he should lose his life or lose his head because like I lost my cool. And so we really tap into what's that about for me when I want to go off the hinges. Who shows me that? Well, typically it's the person or the man in my household who shows me when I get angry, I'll punch you off. When I get angry, when I feel violated, I come back with 2 or 3 times the violated, kind of the violation. And so our work is definitely kind of helping our kids see through it, whether dad is in the house or not, that they have the opportunity to show up, and that's the man that they want to show up as. And that only they get a chance to decide what's cool, what's swag, what it means to be a man. It's all their decision, not anybody else, not me, not everybody's journey, which is why they're both active verbs, becoming and working, is that it's never ending. My mission is I'll never fulfill it when I leave Earth. And I'm okay with that. I reconcile with that. My best is a ongoing process. And so we sit in these spaces, family, and we just are being real and transparent and vulnerable about how I feel as a husband, as a father, which I do. I know we're talking about father today, and I want us to get more shine, and I'm offering up. I know I make several mistakes. I make mistakes every day. And I think it's the acknowledgement of like that we're normalizing and we humanize the journey and what it means to just be a human being, let alone a father. And so in this space, we're just offering up that we want our young boys to just be. And so I'll stop there. I know my audio is kind of coming in and out. Could you all hear a little bit of that?
Yeah. But that's perfect because those are keys to manhood. Is find, like I always tell kids, find your own voice. Find your own voice. Don't try to be like everybody else. And most of these kids don't know how to, because there is no man to determine, give them a viable option of what that other voice is. I'm hearing a lady's voice all the time. When I'm running the women police officers, when I'm in school, the principal is a female. All my teachers are female. I'm hearing. So when I do hear a male's voice, it's almost like now somebody's challenging my authority. So I think, the role of dad, man, is so vital. Moms are just as important. I want to keep saying that, but the role of a father in the house is huge, man. And you said it in a roundabout way. That's where we learn how to handle our anger. That's when we learn how to handle our frustration. That's when we learn how to love, because we're watching something. We're learning from what we see. And I think that is so important.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to learn more about BAM Wow. Like, how did that get started? How did that come about? I'm not sure if I missed some of those details or information, but yeah, how and when did that start? Is that something that you started by yourself? And do you work specifically within schools, after school programs?
No, great question. I want to make sure I craft space for the rest of the Kings on the call, man, who have some great gems to drop, but I'll make it quick. BAM has been around for about 3+ years now, the Becoming a Man program. The founder of the program is called, his name is Tony D. We call him the BAM father, who uses his own
like that.
Yeah, he uses his own. Yeah, I know he loves it too. He uses his own journey, his own trauma to create Obama's My Brother Keeper initiative. President Obama sat in our circle back in 2011 in Hyde Park in Chicago and was blown away with young men doing this very thing, talking about what it meant to be a man, how they felt, the stuff that we just don't talk about. And so that's what really the Becoming a Man program year, who was blown away again by these young ladies, most typically again young of color and young women of color, dealing with things like emotional intelligence, healthy relationships, leadership, things that perhaps our young women, by the way, have been silenced. They've been told they need to show up in a way, just like our young brothers have been told, you got to man up. I cringe when I hear people say that word to our young brothers. Man up. What are we doing to like share with them like just these kind of broad general statements, right? This is what a real man does, right? Like, whoa, wait a minute. Like we are, and so offering up our program just has them think about and have the agency again of like how they want to show up. So we use, again, it's clinical in nature. We got the CBT. We use the narrative modality, the idea that we're not a sum of our past situations, but that we have the agency of like how we want to show up. And then we also use acceptance commitment therapy. Right now we're in Dallas, London, Pittsburgh, opening this fall. We're in
Awesome.
DC, City, LA, and Chicago. And again, we're about to celebrate 100 years as an agency doing this work. Well, I didn't always start up doing this, but we started back in 1924, helping immigrant families realize the American dream in Chicago, which then bore itself into helping communities of color. When we found out, lastly, I would say, that when kids were coming to school and trying to figure out calculus or math, so before we were even talking about that, mom was on drugs, dad was not part of the house. It's kind of hard to think about schoolwork when I'm hungry. And I'm offering up like all these things, going into now what we know is called social emotional learning. That kind of would go into BAM and WOW and how we've been around for a couple of years doing this work. But I'm getting honored to share space with each of these Kings on the call. We're serving about 15,000 students nationwide, and we're going in year 3 of work here in Dallas.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And I'm happy to hear that this is offered in so many other cities, and, hopeful that this is something that can catch on and we can expand upon, because it's certainly a need. And I think a question that you kind of asked earlier is like, what are ways that we can kind of help combat this issue of fatherhood or lack of fatherhood? Is like certainly programs like this and kind of continuously having that conversation and spotlighting things like that. So I don't know if you had.
Can I share one last thing, Kings, and I'll be done?
Yeah, of course.
Can I share one last thing and I'll be done? One of the most popular episodes we do in the beginning of our program is for our young Kings in our BAM program, we show the episode Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when the dad walked out.
Yeah, I use that. I use that.
I already know you on the BAM train.
Yo, but it's funny you should say that. Because real quick, I was like, yo, how do we get you in Philly? We can talk about it at the end of the show. Because we don't have BAM in Philly. I didn't hear about it until I started talking to you. You finish. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
About the Fresh Prince.
I say about BAM.
No, I was about how we get BAM in Philly. But go ahead, finish your point.
Let's talk about that for sure.
Yeah, finish your point. Yeah, finish your point.
I'm all in, Chris. You know I love Philly. I'd move. I'd be the Philadelphia Cowboy fan.
No, you get now you just messed up. You can't come to Philly and be a Cowboy fan. So we'll talk about this later.
We rescind that offer.
Now this
I
question.
want to say this, y'all. That Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episode is so powerful to see the question he asked, which is the root cause of the trauma. When he hugs Uncle Phil, why come he didn't want me, man? Listen, every child that goes through that void of that trauma has that essential question, which comes into their being of like, what does it mean for me? Who am I? But also the trauma of like, why come they didn't want me? The people that I love, that person that I wanted to be in my, and I got, we're talking about other things, but I'll bring up that is the root cause that I'm trying to get to. And if we can get to society, instead of just trying to treat symptoms and get to root cause of trauma. See, kids are not fighting in school because they want to be quote unquote bad kids. Like I want to get to that. Like there are other things that are coming up for them, like these Fresh Prince episodes that are like, yo, there's real trauma here. And if we're not treating that, we'll consistently have the same situations throughout every school district around the country if we're not mindful of like just the trauma that our kids have been exposed to. But a long way of saying, just not a draw in the house. You can imagine how many hours we sit with our young people and process that episode that, by the way, has happened in many of our young kings' lives. Well, come here, won't.
Well, let me.
Well, I do. I want you. I love you. So go ahead, but I'm sorry.
Well, let me say this real quick. Hold up, Tommy. Hold up, real quick, Tommy. I want to say to your point, Mike, that I want to talk about, and we can go later. Trauma is not changed from the original definition of trauma, and people still treat trauma like it has to be a gunshot. Somebody got to be decapitated. They're not the trauma you're talking about. People don't even recognize as trauma yet. That's part of the issue. That's why there's no treat for it. Go ahead, Tommy.
No, what I wanted to say was I actually appreciate that knowledge and that work that you're doing, and let us know anything you need us to do to help. Me anyway. I support that kind of work. But I think Chris was on the when the topic is to celebrate Father's Day, and I think he's changed my mind since I've been on the call. He just stepped in there when he came in, and social media, and we don't use that in a positive way to advertise. We talk about advertisement and commercialization being part of the problem, why it's not being recognized as fathers as the work that the fathers are doing, good stuff that is being done. We don't utilize social media. I just shared that. I was getting emails and text messages and stuff like that. But people on Instagram, text, Twitter, whatever, all that stuff, it could be such a positive force for advertising fathers, what fathers are doing good, and why we need how we can get recognized and more celebrated as fathers, the ones that are doing the work, and then maybe that will translate into the people that don't understand that there are fathers in the homes that are putting in the work, the time, and doing all the right things. Because we start putting it out there. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, 5 other years. I've done all this stuff. So we don't. I started off the conversation saying, for Father's Day, my wife asked me today, what you want for Father's Day? Nothing. Leave me alone. Everybody leave me alone. I'll be good. That's how I felt. But maybe not joking about it, but maybe, we should feel like, hey, where's my recognition? Don't have to give me flowers or diamond rings or anything like that, but, where's my recognition for the work I've done as a father?
But I'm going to go back to my original statement. They don't commercialize what they can't make money off of. So it's not about commercialize it. They don't make money off Father's Day. They know they make money on Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, all those days, so they commercialize it. They know Father's Day is not highly recognized, so that's why it's not commercialized. They know that, and I go back to what I'm saying. Your wife knows what you do for your kids. My wife know. Our wives know what we do. Millions of wives know that their husbands doing good things for their kids. They don't need commercials. They live with it. They live with it. Yeah. So I hear you, but it's like I will be insulted if my wife turned on a commercial and we were watching something and the commercial came on, and after the commercial went off, she looked at me and said, "Hey, you know what? You're a good dad just like him." I would be highly upset about that. I've been here for 40 years.
But I think it's not even just putting on a commercial. Social media is just I guarantee when Father's Day comes around, we're going to see a bunch of posts of dads that have been doing great things.
Yeah.
I think, again, the point is, why do we wait till just Father's Day to highlight and show those things? I think it's just not instilled of us to celebrate it. And if it was celebrated more, who knows? That's when they do see a profit opportunity in it.
Well, I'm gonna throw another wrench in here. If you go back, every professional draft, what's the first thing they say? I want to thank my mom. Dude, your mom wasn't the only one. Your dad can throw you 450 passes. And the first thing they say is the last draft, and I know Chris want to say something. There was a guy, a father, who had to actually take a chair and put it up there because they wouldn't give him a chair. Yeah, they wouldn't give him a chair. They kept putting all his moms up there. He had to physically take a chair and put his own chair up there. And then the lady interviewing was like talking around him. It was almost like, dude, you don't exist. And his son was saying, yeah, my dad shot 100 jump shots with me a day, man. He rebounded for me. Like, yeah, mom. I was like, yo. Yeah. So even when it comes to that, it's like, okay, y'all take a backseat. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but I mean, because, you know, my twist, I'm into kind of the creative things and writing and TV script commercials. And again, I mean, you kind of see it in what is portrayed of a father on TV. Like you can tell, like that's how they think of fathers. He's a little kind of goofy at times. He don't know anything. He's always kind of just waiting for the mom to kind of come in and take charge, tell me what to do type thing. So I think it's just, again, we don't promote fatherhood in a positive light. And it's on us, honestly, to kind of continuously push positive fathers doing great things out here. So that, again, once it's something that they see that is a thing or going viral, that's when the money follows it. You know, it's not like, I think, again, it's been so consistent for us to kind of put out things for women because it's easy. Because it's easy to say like, oh, Mother's Day, you got to spend money here. Mother's all year, make sure you're spending money all year round. Like, I think it's, again, it's easy. It's been like that for so long, and we're responsible for change.
But how do you think we get to that point of, like you said, you know, spotlighting, you know, the Father's Day? Like, what are the steps you think we need to take? And this is open to anybody, by the way.
Before we answer, I'm gonna play something because I think this is key.
Danielle, what's up? Well, I'm glad you're here. Some business came up I gotta handle.
We do not own the rights to this.
You understand?
We don't own the rights to this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we don't own the rights to this.
Just for a couple of weeks. I understand. Maybe a little longer. Yeah, whatever. Look, I'll call you next week and we'll iron out the details. Okay? Yeah. It was great seeing you, son. You too, Lou.
Nobody can see this.
No, it's here.
Use your imagination. It's called that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Will. You know, actually, this works out better for me. You know, the slimmies of summer come to class wearing next to nothing. You know what I mean? Well, it's all right to be angry. Hey, why should I be mad? I'm saying, at least he said goodbye this time. I just wish I hadn't wasted my money buying this stupid present. I'm sorry. If there was something that Hey, you know what? You ain't got to do nothing. You know, ain't like I'm still 5 years old, you know? Ain't like I'm going to be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's daddy coming home, you know? Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't a great job without him. I'm going to marry me a beautiful heart. How come you don't want me, man?
And I kind of cut through that, but that was your point, Mike, on how powerful, you know, that is on the trauma, you know. But I want to shout out to all Uncle Phils too, you know, who step up and kind of fill the gap.
That's actually a good point too. Yeah. When we talk about fatherhood, it's like it doesn't. I think it takes a community to raise a child. I was brought up on that, and there can certainly be other people that are like fatherly figures that, again, I think we need to kind of sometimes give kudos to. Or maybe even encourage people in those positions to kind of step up and be a father in need when you see it. Because I think a point that I tend to make is like when you see kids that are having these problems or issues, and we sit here and we complain about them sometimes, that's your cousin. That's your niece, that's your nephew. Like it's somebody in your family at times that we could easily reach out and try to be a mentor to or step in and like, you know, be a fatherly figure when it comes time to. But those are kind of all the points that I had to kind of make or contribute to there.
So definitely that's the question.
Yeah, Chris, earlier, you know, you mentioned about, you know, us like taking the steps, especially through like social media and different avenues, to spotlight Father's Day, to kind of highlight it. And this is open to the whole panel, by the way. Like, what steps do you think we have to take to make it necessary to make it stick?
I think but people be scared of technology. You know what I mean? And I find myself kind of in that zone, like, because Facebook was around when I grew up. Now I'm like, that's for an older generation. Instagram, like, that's my lane. TikTok, I'm like, leave me alone. Like, I don't get that. That's for younger people. But then I find myself like, man, I need to be open to that, especially if it comes to wanting to deliver a certain type of message. I got to meet them where they're at. So I got to kind of remove that hesitancy of being scared of something that I feel like is foreign or outside of kind of what I know.
So I need clarification on that. What do you mean? No, seriously, you said that, you mentioned older people's, social media and fear of. So put that together for me.
Like some people just scared of change, like, or doing something that's different. Or like, again, maybe I'll use the example of music and like how that has transitioned or changed over time. There's certain people who are like, this is what I listen to. That's good music. And then, like, again, music has changed over time. People are like, I can't listen to new stuff. I'm listening to what I'm comfortable. And I think it's the same thing with technology too. Like, in terms of people, again, Dad, do you have a TikTok?
But I think no.
But
I'm gonna say something. I think Mike would agree with me. Because I don't have it doesn't mean I don't connect with them. Right
That's
now,
where they
and
at,
I'll no, but see, I'm not 100% disagreeing with you. However, and I'm not saying this. You know what I'm about to say is true. I'm very good at what I do. I'm in high demand. I don't have TikTok, but I can speak to it. I can speak to them about things that that meet them where they are and not speak down to them.
Yeah, that's 10 kids in a classroom.
Conversation. But have a conversation. In 2 minutes. Yeah, but sometimes you got to go what you're good at. You go and do what you're good at. And my thing about, and I think TikTok works. Don't get me wrong. For some people, I need to be able to connect with somebody after I'm finished. I need to be say, hey James, I'm done speaking. What's going on? Shake a hand. And they can ask follow-up questions. See, they can't do that for me on TikTok. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I think TikTok has a purpose, and it reaches a lot of people. Yeah, I got it. Because I'm not disagreeing with you. But I just think, I think as men, and I'm not. We talk about Father's Day, so I want to stay on that topic. I do think as men, we need to do a better job of communicating with the next generation. I do think there's a communication gap in there. Some of it is because we are reluctant, to your point, to try new things. But I think it also goes back to, we live in a society now. We did it's funny because we talked about man up, and there's this little skirmish right now between men and women. And I think that contributes to it because, you have a group of women, you don't need a man. And it's ironic because, yet you have so many women dressing up like men. So I kind of, and I'm not against it. I want to make that abundantly clear, but there's a narrative you don't need a man. I can raise a kid all by myself. You hear that all the time. That's a common thing you hear now. Yeah. So why am I going to celebrate a day that recognizes something I don't need? I'm just saying that's you just put it into the narrative, and I don't think, and I may be wrong here. I don't think any amount of commercials or advertisement is going to change the way people see Father's Day. I think women who appreciate dads can change the narrative of Father's Day. It's just like Nike and Colin Kaepernick. Nike didn't really care about Colin Kaepernick. What the CEO of Nike said was, the people who want to protest this not buying our sneakers. They know who's buying the sneakers. So I think that's where the power comes from. Yeah. I think that has to happen, man.
I think that's a good point though, too, is like women certainly kind of advocating for good fathers too. I mean, but that's still part of, like, again, meeting people where they are at as well. Like, nobody's saying that it's just got to be fathers that are advocating, making the videos and content too. You will hope that it's kind of in partnership with, mothers as well. Again, I think those are sometimes the loudest voices, or the mothers that are complaining about the fathers that aren't doing it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Versus the mothers that are talking about fathers that are positive influences.
Well, let me give you guys 2 minutes each to share some closing thoughts, man. We got 10 minutes to go. 2 minutes each. No dissertations, no speeches.
Because I came late.
Keep the notes away. You want to go first, James? You've been quiet the longest. James, you want to go?
No, I think I'm here. I hope y'all can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. No, it was a lot of good ideas and thoughts shared. And I like Chris's statements about the use of technology and stuff like that, because Lord knows I'm not as tech present as I probably should be or want to be, but it is we do need to help figure out different ways and avenues to change the narrative and bring that piece of the equation back into the household and get us recognized what we do for the household, for the family, for the kids, for the grandkids, for all of those things. It's very much prevalent because it is part of who we are and it is part of how we shape the next generations. So that's some work that we got to do. Big ups to Brother Mike over there for doing what he's doing with Man Wild Man. Man, brother.
We got to talk, Mike. I got to get you to Philly. Got to get you to Philly,
God
Mike.
bless you.
Yes, sir.
Got to get you to Philly, man. All right. Who wants to go next? Mike, Tommy?
Tommy, you want to go first, King? Or you want me to go? Okay.
You can go ahead, Mike.
All right, King. I appreciate it, Tommy. Thanks, James. I appreciate that, King. I'm honored and humbled by y'all's words, man. I really am. But I'm just a mere fraction of what y'all have done. So I'm standing on shoulders of giants, man. And so I guess as I end, I would just be remiss to say I'm thankful for my first of my dad, Michael Bear. For me, when I like the opportunity to be. And so I think we talked earlier about dispelling the rumors of what manhood looks like, of what it means to be a father, as I'm also parenting to me, as I'm mid-conversation. You 1 minute? 1 minute. I love it. And so I do say that showing up, and my dad gave that, dare to dream. He showed me that, for example, being emotional, showing it is not unmanly. That's not a part of not being a father. And so I just want to offer up, like, just more people like you guys as men. We dispel the rumor. We show up as authentically ourselves in every space, and we call out the lies too. I'm like, no, that's not a. I gotta challenge you there. As we've done respectfully, in all these spaces, but I'll bring up, like, the truth is, Black men are in the homes, Black men are taking care of responsibilities, and Black men are wonderful fathers. Mm-hmm. And we see that in each of you men. And so I'm just, again, we'll say the way that we dispel it is we just keep showing up authentically ourselves, and we model the idea we can constantly still get better. I am all the kids are in the video games. My son's in the Madden. My rating, if I was on Madden, like as a father, is probably like somewhere around the 80s. I got room to grow. To acknowledge that. But
see, you say acknowledge.
Look at that. He said my son I'll be at 93.
Oh, yeah.
Son, I love you too. So I'll be home later. But also, we can get better, y'all. With that, I'm out. I'm still in with you guys, but I thank you guys for the opportunity. Tommy, take it away, King. Bring us home.
Hey, Mike, real quick. Appreciate you, bro. In case you got to go, man. We'll connect about. I'm serious about getting it here. I'm serious about bringing it to Philly.
Yeah, we're going.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Tommy.
We're going to get my water ice on.
Water ice.
Cowboy Eagle game. I'm there. Go ahead, Tommy. Take us away, King.
Mike, you had to set me up with that. You threw me off. You left me with that. You told me I'm No. James, Mike, Chris, Devin, very good program. I think it went well. I think we got a lot that I learned from each one of you guys. But like Mike shared, I'll share that also. First for my father, Joe Franklin, who put the foundation in me. I had it for 12 years and it lasted the whole time. And as Lil Chris said, my mother played a major role in that, still instilled in me that your father, laid that role, and I still look over my shoulder and say, he's right there. I got to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. So, and I still have that. And so you got to have that woman to share that partner and saying that, hey, your father, we got to get this stuff. And I'm not that bashing women, but I say you got to have it where more women are not bashing their fathers, their husbands, their sons, and appreciate the ones that's doing well and recognize them. So, as Chris started off, this is a celebration of Father's Day. Yeah, it do need to be elevated. Some people need to elevate that we do have fathers that doing a lot of great things, and that maybe need to be recognized. And whether it's through social media or old school or BAM or WOW or whatever programs that we have out there that support fathers and men doing the right thing, we need to recognize. But I thank all of you guys and for sharing stuff. I learned a lot from everybody. Thank you.
And definitely thank all of you. Appreciate you guys coming. I think something that we can kind of continue to do is to further this conversation is just occasionally having fathers on and just talking about certain topics or discussions of things that are important within our community to kind of make sure that we're contributing on that as well. So I think, I loved having kind of a panel almost to kind of go in and talk about these different topics and finding ways that we can kind of strengthen our community here. Again, it starts with this, meeting the people where they at.
Well, we gotta get Mike back anyways, because I want to talk more about BAM. We just gotta work out a schedule with Mike.
Definitely.
Yeah, again, this was awesome. Definitely sharing a lot of thoughts and tips, and definitely hoping not only a lot of people here, but a lot of people watching could, take something from this conversation. And like Chris said, I definitely do enjoy, group discussions like this. So this is definitely very fruitful, and I'm thankful for this.
I'm so proud to be associated with you brothers, man. They say you can tell a lot about a person about the company he keeps. Mike and I, we go way back with All Stars, man, and our Eagle Cowboy debates. Going back and forth, man. But it was just great working with you. Just getting to know your heart, man. And we keep in touch. Man, Tommy, I've known you since first grade, bro. So we go way, way, way back, man. And James, we've been doing a lot of good work. James comes out to my career days. Whenever I need James, he shows up and does his thing. So, I want to honor you guys for being the great dads, the great fathers, the great men that you are, and role models. But we definitely out of time, man. So again, I want to say thank you to you guys, man. Love you, brothers. Mike, we got to connect sometime. I'm serious about getting BAM here to Philly.
Hey, King, we'll make it happen, King.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Becoming your wife.
All right. Appreciate you guys, man. I will see you guys later, man. Peace.
Peace out, everybody.
All right.
Take care.
G.
So we're closing out now. Above average black men. Another great episode.
Ooh. Here we go.
Thank you kindly.
We need to turn the volume up or get the volume on the speaker. I don't know what this sound like on IG.